Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry, and it's time for some more Baldur's Gate 3 Early Access Edition. Now, when last we left off, I believe one of our companions wanted to talk to us, and I think it was Will. He had a yellow exclamation mark over his head, but it doesn't seem to be there now, or am I thinking of earlier? Oh well. We should really rest. We're very, very tired. We still have the skeleton here in our camp. He's likely here to stay. And I'd like to go back down to the beach to see if he's moved over to the old ruined church or not. And no, he still appears to be here. So the old ruin off to the side there may very well be for something else. There's a lot of additions to the camp and it's becoming a much more grandiose place. Let's talk to Will anyway. We also wanted to swap out party members. We wanted to get Gale back in the party. Shadowheart really doesn't like us very much, although she just seems to be very, very jealous of Lae'zel. We should probably talk to her about that box of hers at some point, especially as she keeps shunting it back into our pockets. In fact, if she is so insistent on us having this thing when she's not looking, we should probably fiddle with it.
A curious, ornate box. Its many sides are engraved with indecipherable glyphs.
Okay, so this is clearly a very important item, as it already has its own model this early in early access. It reminds me of the puzzle box from the Council of Thieves adventure path for Pathfinder, a 12-sided, dodecahedron with a different hellish rune on each side, and the way to open it was to press all 12 runes in the correct order. However, any time that a rune was pressed out of sequence, there would be a little fire trap effect that would go off and the sequence would randomize, so they would have to be pressed in a completely different order. So it was very difficult to try and work out how to open. I'm not going to force it. I will go for an investigation check though. However, being of a more religious bent rather than a scholarly orientation, this character might not do too well. Oh, that's interesting. Now, I'm also thinking this role might not be to open the box, it might be to work out something about how it is opened. Well, well, well.
No openings you can see, yet you sense something inside it.
Well, yeah, it's glowing bright red for some reason. And we almost freeze-framed there, but the eyes and the face is still twitching. Let's put it away and talk to her about it before we do anything. There's something slightly off about her.
Something the matter?
What's the story of that odd little artifact you keep giving me? The box, which you love so much but you constantly let it out of your sight.
There's no story. None that you're entitled to hear, anyway. Just forget you ever saw it.
Maybe her real personality is inside it. All those feelings and emotions she's locked away to be an evil, sadistic bitch. And it's like her real identity, and this is like a mask she wears of psychopathic nightmare. Right. These don't generally go anywhere well, but there is some way to get on her good side. Don't know what it is, though. I think Will wanted to talk to me, but I'm not sure, so I'll talk to him and see if he has anything special on you to say.
A fine day for it, yes?
He's not quite a chav, but almost a chav, but nothing like a chav. It's weird. There's something about him. That kind of cocky, urban, can-do attitude. That self-assuredness, that's probably it. Well, yeah, it's not so, hold on, who were you talking to?
What? Oh, goodness, no one really. Just a bit of poetry to clear the head. Perhaps it's working. I haven't sprouted a single tentacle that I can see anyway. I call that a good sign.
I didn't notice him talking to anyone else at all. Well, I agree. Perhaps there's nothing to fear for now, at least. There's no signs of corruption or transformation, which we should probably all be concerned about, but we should also count our blessings, I suppose.
Optimism. I like it. But do let me know if you start growing a second tongue or something.
Blessing number 1. None of us are turning into mind flayers yet. Right, let's go get some sleep. I'd like to change the party and get Gale back in there, but I have a reason not to. It would be nice to cycle out Astarion, but we are deep in the dark, shadowy caves, and he has the special boots that let him walk through all those spider webs which are going to be blocking our return path. And I'm thinking that down in the caves is very dangerous, so we should get out of them and do some more of the surface stuff. And I'm
You
gonna
don't
sneeze.
sleep well, flitting between dreams and nightmares. Maybe you wake up because you know something is wrong. Or maybe you just get lucky.
Shit.
What? Yeah, hey, stop that.
No, it's not what it looks like. I swear. I wasn't going to hurt you. I just needed, well, blood.
There, in dim firelight, you see him for what he really is. A vampire. A slave to sanguine hunger.
So it is exactly what it looked like. I can't believe my player character did not see this blatantly obvious thing. And I don't mean because they showed his fangs in the promotional artwork either. It's like, you can see them in conversations. And yeah, we even found the boar that he sucked all the blood out of.
It's not what you think. I'm not some monster. I feed on animals. Boars, deer, kobolds, whatever I can get. I'm just too slow right now. Too weak. If I just had a little blood, I could think clearer. Fight better. Please.
Hey. Kobolds are people too, you know. Yeah. Why didn't you just tell me?
At best, I was sure you'd say no. More likely, you'd ram a stake through my ribs. No. I needed you to trust me. And you can trust me.
You know, you just tried to bite me when I was sleeping. How am I supposed to be able to trust you?
Because we don't have a choice. Not if we're going to save ourselves from these worms. I need you alive. You need me strong. Please, only be a taste, I swear. I'll be well, you'll be fine. And everything can go back to normal.
He does sound rather pathetic, pleading there, doesn't he? And look at this stern look in her face, the glare of concentration, the jut of the jaw as she turns her head there, like, are you serious? Right. obviously the most sensible thing to do here is to say no, not on your Nelly. However, we are a good character who's trying to rehabilitate nasty bad people, and giving him what he wants wouldn't exactly help his condition. However, it would prevent him from victimizing anyone else, so this would be a sacrifice we are making. And if we don't have to do it too often, and there aren't too many really nasty consequences, then we can maybe say yes this once. Also, as this is early access, it might be interesting to see what happens. So fine, but not a drop more than you need.
Really? Of course. Not one drop more.
Yeah, he's like an addict. Will he be able to stop himself?
He holds you carefully, delicately, until he strikes. It's like a shard of ice into your neck. A quick, sharp pain that fades to throbbing numbness. Your breath catches. Your pulse quickens.
Now, I did say at the start of this conversation, but I needed to sneeze. And it has been waiting, refusing to come out all that time. I apologise. Clearly it's some kind of allergic reaction to having my throat ripped open by great big bloody teeth. He's only just started. I think we'll let him continue a little bit. Oh, wait. Wait. Ah. So we don't know exactly how much he needs, and we don't know if there will be a second chance to make it to say stop, so the lady says no before he gets too carried away.
Oh, of course. That was amazing. My mind is finally clear. I feel strong. I feel happy.
Well, don't let it go to your head. I don't. That felt wrong. Although I should probably thank him for not going for the side of the tattoo. In fact, all of the neck tattoos are on the left-hand side or the centre, none on the right-hand side, which he goes for. So that might have actually been a very intelligent choice by the developers to, like, completely avoid that spot. That's an interesting thought. It's probably not. It's probably more accidental. Or they might have had some on that side and then removed him. Or had him go for this side originally. I don't know. Interesting thought, though, right? I don't. That felt wrong, and I don't really want to do it again.
Don't be so dramatic. This is just a little transaction between friends. And look what you've gained. Together, we can take on the world.
It's a very one-sided transaction. I don't think I'm going to give him a death threat or tell him to bugger off and never come back. But I don't exactly want to encourage him to do it in the future, so I hope so. I look forward to seeing you fight with this renewed vigour you claim to have.
Shouldn't take long. So many people need killing. Now, if you'll excuse me, you're invigorating, but I need something more filling.
You watch as he
What
stalks
scum?
towards the forest. Stronger, more confident, ready to hunt.
This is a gift, you know. I won't forget it.
Yeah, neither will I. I won't necessarily be particularly happy about it either. We will have words about this. You mark my words. Also here, I can swap. Oh, yeah, so I have also noticed that the price of items we buy and sell depends on the charisma of the person selling. And in this case, the highest charisma in the active party, it ain't going to be her, would be Will. So we should have him do the buying and selling in future. Ooh. We'd better have a word with him before we continue on our quest. Is she filling with her puzzle box that's still in my pockets? That feels very wrong.
Good morning. How do you feel?
Well, my bloody neck hurts. How do you think I feel?
Be grateful I'm not a true vampire, then. A bite from them and you might wake up as a vampire spawn. Like my good self. All of a vampire's hunger, but few of their powers.
When did Will get here? What? He's come over, he's like, hey, I want to listen to this, yo. This man is serious vampire trouble. We got to be careful, look after him right, feed him right. I'm like, he's not a pet, you know, he's not just for Christmas. He's like, I know, we can't just flush him down the toilet, but still, got to be cheery, man. I is famous hero, innit? He is cheery, and he's kind of likeable. He's possibly the only companion to be more likeable than Gale, which actually kind of matches up the charisma. I think Gale has like a 13 or 14 charisma. Interestingly, Shadowheart is supposed to have a higher charisma than Gale, but she does not make as good an impression, even remotely. So she could be hiding it, or it could be nasty charisma, like bullying, controlling, manipulative charisma, rather than nice, friendly charisma, so likeable. Because it's force of personality. I mean, getting on to charisma a bit, I'm about to mention some names, at least one of which will not be popular on YouTube. So, let's see. Oh, damn it. It'll come to me. Sorry, all I can think of is Nasruddin, and I know that's not... Rasputin, that's it. So, Grigory Rasputin, Adolf Hitler, Winston Churchill, and even Napoleon Bonaparte. These four men are, without a doubt, had great charisma. They had the power to sway people with their words, to form the opinions and notions of entire crowds and even nations. And none of them could be considered to be particularly handsome individuals. Charisma isn't about good looks. It's about the animal magnetism, force of personality, making a good first impression. And good looks do help, and they are a part of it, but they are not the most important part. They're not the main part. You know, you could see a beautiful woman walking down the road, but she could be arrogant, smug, taking in the, soaking in the attention of everyone, and she knows she's good looking, so she doesn't need to be nice to anyone, so she's actually a really horrible bitch, and everyone kind of hates her. And you could also see a beautiful woman who's actually quite nice to people as well, There's a whole spectrum. Right. Is that how you can stand in the sun? Because you're not a true vampire?
Oh no. I should be cinders in this light. I hadn't seen the sun for 200 years before we crashed here. Someone, or something, wants me alive. They've changed the rule. Some of the rules, at least. Running water still burns like acid, and I don't know if I need an invitation to enter a house. As for my other quirks, well, we can figure those out in time.
When he says they've changed the rules, that's such a fourth wall break. So, what do you think's causing this then? The mindflayer parasite, maybe? Probably not.
That's my theory, but who knows? I'm just glad you're being sensible about these revelations. I was worried people might turn up with torches and pitchforks. Although there's still time.
Hunting with vampires? Never thought I'd see the day. Very well. But I'm keeping an eye on you. And no wisecracks about having us for supper.
For his sake, He'd best not develop an appetite for Githyanki.
Is that why Will turned up? Right, actually, mind flayers can become undead. They become the illithid as opposed to the illithid. I can't remember. There's also a specific vampiric undead mind flayer variant. I can't remember if the illithid is the lich or vampire or vampiric version. Yeah, alright, look you two, we need him, okay? And that might be why Will turned up, although Lae'zel didn't exactly stroll on over.
She's not wrong. We're bound together, no matter what comes.
I just better not wake with any holes in my neck.
There now. We're all friends again. Shall we go? There's a long day ahead of us.
We need him because all 6 of us have mind flayer tadpoles in our head, and we need to try and find a cure before it gets out of hand, or out of face, as the case may be. And for that, we can't really afford to let anyone bugger off. Let's go rest a second time. Maybe swatch a few spells around. It would be really nice to get Shield of Faith in there, but what would I command? Sure, okay. Ditch for command. Go Shield of Faith. I don't think there's a higher level, but why can't I? There we go. And can I get any more? No. No, no, no. Good. So, the same number. Right. These are not prepared casters, so that's good. So it would be nice to get Shadowheart a bit more integrated in the party instead of just like setting off on the side, hating our guts. But since she's the same class as us, we're kind of doubling up on roles, and there's a little bit of a redundancy there. So my idea is to go back to the Goblin Village, and then when we get there, we will go. Wait, is it south? No, it's west, isn't it? I'm thinking because of the map rotation. So then, when we get there, we would swap out Astarion for Gale, and then maybe swap either Lae'zel or Will for Shadowheart. Maybe. It depends. We should also organise our spell scrolls and give most of them to Gale, to be honest. For now, though, I'm thinking we got a bit of maintenance to do. And we are back here. Wait, that is not a ladder, is it? It's not even remotely a ladder. And we are waiting for some textures to load in. So I believe we've fully looted this place. Might as well light the candles, make ourselves feel a bit at home. Oh, well, not completely, but we're leaving a few things that are not of great value yet. Take the water boat. There has got to be a crafting system that we are not interacting with yet. Speaking of which, we should be looking for susurrus bark. Now, susurrus is an unusual word. It refers to the sound, the echoing sound of the ocean waves rolling in towards the shore and out again. That kind of soothing. I mean, it's also called a susurration. I think it might be a Norwegian word. I'm not entirely sure, because it was popularized by a First World War Norwegian poet. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. But now we want to be finding our way out of this place. Also, check the cocoon just above. Yeah, these are likely to be mostly just little of great value.
You're staring at me again. What do you want?
I want that cocoon that's behind you that you... well, we get a lot more... Hey, look, about last night.
I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble.
Look, I don't like the idea. I might have to make the sacrifice, but I need to know how we're going to feed you in the future.
No innocence. You have my word. Only villains that we need to kill anyway. After all, you know what I am now. I can fight with all my weapons. Teeth included. And if I happen to drain the occasional bandit during a fight, what's the harm? They're just as dead.
If he turns his head again, we can see the puncture marks on his throat. And that's an interesting thought, because, you know, with the whole notion of the vampire being preserved roughly as it was at the point of death, then, yes, you could imagine that that feeding wound would not heal. Well, I could forbid him from feeding on people, but if he does get some kind of bite ability in combat that he can use against enemies who aren't going to be alive afterwards anyway, then that's kind of acceptable. Alright, but I'll be watching to see if you do anything bad.
Excellent. Now, shall we go? I'm already feeling a little peckish.
And just to be clear, how does someone get turned into a vampire?
It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free. And a true vampire.
So I'm supposed to know who Cazador is. I believe Lae'zel or Shadowheart mentioned the name to him in conversation once, but this is the first I've ever heard about this person. In theory...
People think the biggest threat to a vampire is a cleric with a stake. It's not. The biggest threat to a vampire is another vampire. They're scheming, paranoid, power-hungry beasts. So why would any vampire give up control over a spawn to create a competitor? Trust me, it doesn't happen.
Alright, so I've discussed this with Will, I think, but what do you think of Raphael's deal? The other Raphael?
I won't lie. It's tempting. If I keep the tadpole, I risk transforming into a grotesque monster. If I lose the tadpole, Cazador has control of me, body and soul, and I return to the shadows. It's grim either way. So why not sell what's left of my soul to a devil? Better he has it than Cazador.
Alright, maybe you could tell me who the hell this Cazador is, but for now, obviously that doesn't seem to be it. You know, you'd be trading your one master for another. You'd be a slave either way. A bit like being stupid enough to sign a withdrawal agreement with the kind of stuff that some woman called something May once signed in it.
You're familiar with the phrase, better the devil you know? I know Cazador, and I'll take anything that saves me from that.
You know, I'd rather be a pauper than be a rich man's slave. Alright, tell me about your history a little bit. Let's find out about this Cazador thing.
Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again.
The reason I insist is because you keep bloody mentioning it, and I would like to try and understand the things you occasionally talk about. Right, okay, let's just get on with our journey. Now, about this cocoon. Nothing. So, there are webbed paths up here, which we have not fully explored. Oh, that's convenient. That's rather convenient. So, I should explore. Over here, I have not fully explored yet. Up here, I pretty much have. So I'm looking for a way onwards. So there's that cavern down there. Over here, though, there does seem to be more that we have not yet explored. And while this does seem to be some kind of way onwards, actually it feels like the edge of the map. And another edge there. We can go this way, we can go this way, we can go there, we hit an edge. So I'm not thinking we can... That is something we can climb down. That is something we can climb down. This is not, so we would need to find some way. Okay, just like walk through here. And no way down there. So there has to be a way across. There it is. Oh, but through all those webs, which we would need to burn. Well, that's something to bear in mind for when we return here, which we no doubt will. But for now, obviously, we're looking for a path of least resistance, which involves as few cobwebs as possible. Have we searched this? I believe so, but let's check anyway, just to be on the safe side. Probably only had a few bones anyway, despite all that fancy ancient looking armour. Don't worry, I see those. Okay, sod it, I will go have a look before I leave. There might be something other than skulls and bones in these. But not yet. Oh, hello. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's a rucksack. Whoa, potion of greater healing. We'll have that. Not sure who would give it to. But for now, obviously, we want to be exploring emergency exits. He's just got Idle, Sylvanas, and Githyanki control. So that's 2 exits. And there's a third one over there somewhere, I think. So this... Oh, hold on a minute. Okay, 2-handed sword, studded shield. We haven't found a lot of other shields yet. In fact, I'm not sure we've found any. Hey, you got anything? No. Is this the well in the village? Short sword, gold, and a ruby ring. This could very well... We'll be careful, there could be violence at the top of this. We are back in the blighted village, and it's slowly loading. There are yellow, non-hostile goblins. We want to be careful with them because they could easily become hostile at any moment. However, we've got a waypoint here, and there were still some red ones down here, and the intent is to clear out this side of the village, explore... Come on, map. Southwards, not west. Okay, that's good. No Vivian for us here. let's come and say... Oh, interesting. They're all yellow now too. Why are they not attacking us? Goblin Brawler, Goblin Sharp Eye. They are suspiciously not hostile. After all the ones in this building and this ambush near the gate absolutely went for us, this lot don't seem interested. And I don't... Oh god. So many. Man, if I was playing one of my dwarf characters now, we'd just fight over... Go! Who's talking? Who the hell is talking? Now you've done it, trespasser! Okay. Awesome, now we get to fight. And he is a very fast goblin. Now, Astarion, you have a bow. He's really threatened. Oh, go for a sneak attack then. And then move on out to here. And hope that lot don't chain on him. Oh! Did you see what I saw? Mouth. Because, you know, angry monster mouth. It's like Monster Munch, but different. It's elf chomps. Oh, he is so dead. Yeah, you come up and play too. That's not fun. Basic poison, you say? Well, hello there, monster. You are a monster. Do you know what we do to monsters? We shoot them. But apparently we stab them much more effectively. Yeah. Okay, let's try for the kill here. Because it's only one hit point. Now. We can go engage the spider to keep it busy. Someone needs to tie up the Sharp Eye. Lae'zel can probably take him out of 1 or 2 hits. And he's going to run around doing nasty things. And he is the one controlling the spider, but also the more dangerous. However, the spider is pretty dangerous, and Lae'zel should probably go take him on. We'll get Astarion to go. So yeah, let's try hold up this gobbo and say, "Where is your Asbo, goblin?" And he's like, "Asbo to gobbo, Asbo to gobbo. I've got Asbos coming out my ears." You know, too bloody right now. Shut up and stop earning them. They are not a reward. So all we do is switch weapons and go, "Hey, what does this do?" Oh, doesn't break stealth, so he can be super sneaky assassin in the dark then. For now though, we're going to go for our sneak attack. That's right. And now it is going to get a turn, regrettably. And spit a web on the ground around it. Even though the webs don't come from the mouth. Well, Lae'zel, you know what to do. Miss, apparently. How disappointing. Alright. Yeah, he is running away, as predicted, and shooting a nasty poisoned arrow. Will, can you get him, please? Yes. Not quite enough, though. Let us try not to get too separated from our companions, but to keep him tied down so that he has to at least disengage if he wants to be able to keep moving around and fighting. Speaking of moving around and fighting... Yeah, that's gone. And with a hop, skip and a jump, we don't actually get to jump now, but we do get to go quite quickly and say, "Hello there, we would like to cut off your retreat." And totally threaten you and everything. Lizelle, you have a sword. It's great. It's also very big and heavy, so you're not going to get all the way over there. So just rush on up there and help lock him in. Nimble escape. Why didn't you just jump? Alright, Will. You know what to do. Please. Great start. Now get in there and make him feel uncomfortable. And you know what else might make him feel really uncomfortable? A mace to the face. Nice! You know what else might really make him feel uncomfortable? A rapier to the something other than the face. Yeah. You got stabbed with a rapier, smacked with a mace, and he really wasn't expecting that second rapier. Somehow. And what's this? Another skeleton, you say? Damaged headpiece? Battered by age and use, this once fine helmet feels like a ghost of a bygone time. I wonder if we can get the blacksmith to repair this, because that helmet looks quite nice actually. Also, we have this lovely short rest button. Let's take a look at that for a moment then. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's a bit kind of not quite H.R. Geiger, but kind of that sort of alien look to it. Also, the very two-dimensional nature of the ornamental pieces. I'm not going to call them horns because they're not really. They're more like a headdress. Yeah, we can make a bit of money from it, but examine. Okay, no special description suggesting it could be repaired or something, which is a shame because that might be interesting. Now, what other new things do we have that we can go mouse over to get rid of the little pluses? Apparently nothing, so that's good. We'll send this to Will. So that he can make sure they go to a good home. Also, did we have some new thief tools we should be giving to our thief? No. Okay. And, before I forget it, that ladder in the cellar burnt in the explosion. And we didn't check if it...
Feed if you must, Astarion. But give me so much as a hungry look, and I'll drive a stake through your heart.
I do so very like spicy food.
So yeah, we didn't check if it actually was a way out of the area or not. So this looks like a climb down. Oh yeah, we can totally climb down here. Yeah. And I thought I heard a giant cat purring, like a giant panther or something. Oh, hello,
Killed a
chest.
few giant bats in my day, Astarion, but never hunted a vampire.
Just to remind you, I'm merely a spawn. It won't count. But if you want a true vampire, I'm happy to recommend.
Would that be Cazador by any chance? Right. Why don't you come up here and see if you can find any traps? Any traps at all? Any traps? Because we have had a few trapped chests that haven't been... I mean, it looks like it's just fallen off, but... Please, nothing bad? Nothing bad, okay. So yeah, this is a stopping point, an edge which cannot be traversed. I'm not sure we should let the elf lead in the forest. Not because he's an elf and he might like to just frolic freely in the glades, but because he's a bloody vampire and very out of touch with nature. A sadistic evil predator. And he's just fed on cleric blood and we really shouldn't let it go to his head. But we do have a blacksmith cellar to return to at some point. However, we should also go visit a certain... Oh, hello! Joel, Demir, and Auntie Ethel. Can we just bugger off and pretend we didn't see that? Because she's probably a big bad witch. She wants us to go to her house in the woods where she will feed us horrible potions and spells and boil us up to put her in a stew or something.
How is the rat diet going?
It may soon come to an end if you don't shut your mouth.
We're certainly getting a bit more party banter now, so that's alright. But yeah, let's head on back to the Druid's Grove. I'm not going to use the teleport thing because fast travel is cheating. And there is an outrageous amount of teleportation around here. But there was a ladder that we didn't check out. Because initially I would have thought the ladder would have come up to that point where we jumped down. Because, and I thought, okay, we fell down, but we didn't see the top of the ladder at the top of the hole. And there appears to be some space up here with a second chest. This wooden chest has already been opened and thoroughly ransacked. However, Astarion, be a gentleman and head up there, would you? Good fellow. Always check the ancillary stuff. Give that to Will. We're going to sell it soon anyway. And then this appears to be marked. This chest is unremarkable except for an iron plaque with the name Samson. Well, I don't think we found any letters or information about a Samson and a Dida. Although Dida isn't exactly Delilah. So let's try pick the lock. Failed. Interesting. Very interesting. We should be losing our feast tools from this, shouldn't we? There we go. Okay, that worked. Steel forged sword. Uncommon martial melee weapon. 1d6 plus 1 piercing. Plus 1 enchantment. Though the grip's lever is old and rusty, it shows no signs of wear and not a single scratch mars the slender blade. D6, it's probably a short sword or rapier. As a straight sword, probably a short sword. And that actually involved damage. Interesting. However, look, I'll happily take the +1 to hit for the... It's a smaller damage die, but it's +1. So that is a 1 to 8 damage range. This is a 2 to 7. So it's actually not too far off. And if we wanted, we could even give him a dagger as a backup weapon, so you can really mess people up. And then gets a bonus attack that does d4 plus 3 damage. D4... 1 for strength would be d4 plus 1. If he's adding dexterity, that makes sense. Now, I'm used to finesse in Pathfinder just being for attack rolls, and then if you want it to apply to damage as well, you need to worship Sarenrae Ray and wield a scimitar and take 1 or 2 feats and maybe even a trait. You know, there's ways of doing it, right? But in Pathfinder, it does not default to both hit and damage. And yes, I can see why 5th edition goes for the simpler approach of toning things down and making it easier for people to get to grips with. But also... it's simpler, but also more powerful. So maybe if I think of Pathfinder and 5th edition as being on different scales, right? You know, a +1 to a d20 roll is a +1 to a d20 roll, but then, you know, Pathfinder has skill ranks and higher DCs. 5th edition has just proficiency, which just sort of scales with level and applies to a blanket bunch of skills. It's a smaller modifier, but also on a smaller dice roll, right? So it's a bigger modifier in a way. Do we have other stuff? I mean, a halberd? Lae'zel might use it, but she kind of likes her swords. Speaking of which, we should totally give some of these to Will. And then go back and trade with him and hope he's not too heavily encumbered. Oh, absolutely getting rid of that goblin scimitar as well. It's more of a falchion, really. Not because of the straightness of the blade and the curve towards the end, but to do with the thickness of the curved section towards the end, which is more of a falchion shape. And also scimitars often had a more pointed tip, whereas the falchion is the more axe-like, blunt, choppy weapon. Although if you really want an axe-like chopping sword, basically the Greek kopis, which a lot of people have suddenly started calling a falcata. Now, falcata and kopis are technically different swords, but so similar as to be almost the same thing. The kopis has a more distinctive grip though, and also, since the guys have left now, we should salvage some of this stuff from the goblins, you know? Can't have them getting their filthy hands on it. Oh, broken loot, that's unfortunate. That won't make any good sounds until it's mended. I wonder if Althea might actually... She probably won't. But we could go talk to her and say, hey, come on, look, here's something you could be interested in, right? You could start mending this up as a little passion project. Hello. Why, hello there. Malachite. How gorgeous. And yeah, this episode has mostly been just retreading our steps, but we've learned some more about our companions.
Blade of frontiers, hmm? Do you always need to be the center of attention?
Easy now. I'm just giving the people what they want.
Yeah,
Curious.
Lae'zel, you're just jealous.
Try to avoid headaches.
Yeah, she doesn't do too well with the idea of giving people what they want. or people liking things or appreciating anything. Wow. Let's see if Auntie Ethel is still here or if she's now permanently moved to the forest for that encounter. If she has permanently moved, that'll make things a little bit harder for us. Oh, it looks like she has maybe moved. Interesting. Yeah, she's gone. That means we need to find someone else to buy our crap. But at least we have plenty of crap we can sell off right here without
Thanks for fighting off
diluting
those
the-
goblins. If you need to replace any gear, just ask. My selection's pretty slim. I had to leave most of my equipment in Elturel.
That forge is holding on by a thread. Are you a smith?
The best. People came from as far as Neverwinter to buy my swords. Funny how things change when your bloodline becomes a problem. Guess I'll be starting over in Baldur's Gate. I hope people are more open-minded there.
So, this actually brings up an interesting point. A lot of people have asked, is there some anti-tiefling racism in this game? And as far as I can make out, this all dates back to a particular incident where a very nasty tiefling did a very bad thing in that town, which was tantamount to a war crime. And from that point onwards, everyone in the town started looking at the tieflings differently. So it's not like people hate them for being tieflings. They hate them for being like the man who practically destroyed the whole town. He like signed a contract with some devils and really messed up the place. A bit like Cheliax in Pathfinder. I don't get to talk to him about this then, that's a shame. I might get to repair it on the anvil though with the right stuff. I wonder, with a hammer maybe? There's an interesting thought. Well, let's sell off this stuff first. But do we want any of these things? +1 mace might be nice. We're starting to get into the being able to afford +1 gear territory now. Yeah, sure, that's gonna be a horrendous decision. Let's hold it. Hammer. I'm liking this. You could. Ooh. Maybe. Hey, Will, could you might be worth hanging on to some of these things. But we do need to start making back some of the money we just spent, because that was an outrageous expenditure. And you know what? These shears are made of metal. They're ironwork, ironmongery, so... And the tongs... I still kind of want to hold on to them for training purposes. Crafting, I mean. Right. Send that over to Jaria. Hold on to that, because we might be able to get something good for it. And there we go. So we finally get to see what this mace looks like, and hopefully it's not too bad. Hey, that's actually pretty nice. Well, it's a bit shiny. So I'm thinking soon we want to go off and see Auntie Ethel. But for that, I'm also thinking we want lots of casters. I'm reckoning we don't need Lae'zel for that. We could take Will, Gale, and Shadowheart. Look, it's a word name like Gale. It doesn't exactly stick in my mind, okay? I do not like word names. But anyway, I'm gonna meander on up towards the entrance here. And I think this episode turned out alright. Now, I'm gonna probably try batch record a few episodes sometime soon, because on Tuesday, sometime on Tuesday, Solasta, Crown of the Magister, goes into early access, and I backed that on Kickstarter. It's another 5th edition role-playing game, very similar to this one, but with a lot of differences, and a lot of people on the forums for both games have been asking about comparisons between the two. So I will try my best to continue to keep Baldur's Gate free content coming while I make a start on Solasta. Which means I will be releasing 2 or more videos a day. Possibly even 3 videos a day, depending on how things go. Now, that means that I will, because Solasta is the newer game on the channel, I'll be putting that up on the video that shows on the channel homepage for returning viewers if they go to that page. So you might want to just go check. If you see like a Solasta video up, just check, because chances are I will have put up a Baldur's Gate free video as well. Probably not at the same time. I might like try and stagger them, like 12 hours apart or something. We'll see what I'm able to do. And also, it's actually been almost a month, if not a little over a month, since I last recorded some other side, and I'd really like to get back to that as well. So I know it means lots of different games at once. I want to finish Darkest Dungeon. I want to go back and finish that at some point soon as well. And I want to finish Call of Cthulhu 2018. I want to finish A Plague Tale: Innocence, and that was an interesting misclick. I was just cleaning the mouse and just dash forwards a few steps like, no, to adventure! So, yeah, there are lots of games I want to play at the moment and record. So, the easiest solution is for me to play more games, record more games, and upload more games, if I'm able to. We'll see how I handle the workload. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, and I do look forward to seeing you all in the next one. I might put up a little channel announcement about the multiple videos forthcoming, but I think I'd like to build up a bit of a backlog before I can confidently do that just yet. So yeah, look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye for now everyone, and cheerio!